on. So by the end of today, please request for um, the clip on how to register for your ISC2 training. The registration is free, but if you do not know how to register it, they will still charge you money. Your checkout page will still be showing money. But if you do it very well, if you follow the steps and how I did on the video, you will successfully get to the page where you will do it free, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so once you do that registration, you will have access to the domains of training. You'll have access to them. There are 5 domains, 5 core domains, but for the sake of this lesson this week, we have to share it into 8 domains so that we can extensively talk to some other areas. Okay. So, in your exams, you're going to find this question, the ISC2 Code of Ethics and Canon. So these two, they might mix them up together and ask you to find one from the other. So let's take a look at this. It said, all information security professionals must, okay, who are certified by ISC2, recognize that such certification is a privilege. Trust me, it is. That must be both earned and maintained. In support of this principle, all members are required to commit fully this code of ethics, which is the code below. Also, the members who intentionally or knowingly violates any provision of the code will be subject to action by a peer review panel, which may result in the revocation of the person's certification and license. So members are obligated to follow the ethics compliance procedure upon observing any action by the ISC2 member that breaches the code. Failure to do so may be considered a breach of code pursuant to Code 4. Now, the main thing, they say there are only 4 mandatory canons. I don't know whether you're going to cram it or you just have to know it. Just, it's not much. Those 4 mandatory canons, you know them so that if anything is added there that is not meant to be there, you will, identify that it is not part of the program. By necessity, such high-level guidance is not intended to be a substitute for the ethical judgment of the professional. Meaning, yes, we have all these rules that are steep and very strong, but there are times when you need to make decisions as a what? Who is following me? Hello? Yeah. These rules are there quite all right, but there are times when you will need to make decisions as a human being, as a being that has conscience. For example, let's say the company's laptop is inside a room that is on fire. What are you going to do? Are you going to rush inside there to go and save the laptop, or are you going to save your life first?
Your life, of course.
Yeah. So that's what it means here, that there are 4 mandatory canons in the code. By necessity, such high-level guidance is not intended to be a substitute for ethical judgment of the professional. That's clear, right? Yeah. So life first, then properties. Okay, then these are the four canons here, which is number one is protect the society, the common good, necessary public trust, and confidence and the infrastructure. This is number one. Number two says act honorably, honestly, justly, responsibly, and legally. Number three, provide diligent and competent service to principals. Then number four, advance and protect the career, the profession. So in the exam, they might bring one from the preamble and add it here, making it five, then ask you which one of them is wrong. Of course, you know the one that came in here is wrong. Okay. So you just have to take a look at the canons, keep them in your head, take a look at the preambles and also keep them in your head. So when they swap the questions or put one options into another, you will notice it early. While the Code of Ethics preamble says the safety and welfare of the society and the common good, duty to our principles and to each other requires that we adhere and be seen to adhere to the highest ethical standard of behavior. That is Code of Ethics preamble. Then number two says, therefore, strict adherence to this code is a condition of certification. So I just wanted to touch base on how you register, and when you register for the training here, I think there are some quiz that you answer. You have to take care so that you succeed in it because most times it is trickish. You have to write it when you're ready. So before we go ahead, you can tell me what SIM is. SIM. SIEM, sorry. SIEM.
Security information events management.
Okay, that is correct. So who can tell us what a threat intelligence platform is and possibly an example of it? Threat intelligence. If you feel comfortable using
Example of a
another
threat
okay.
intelligence platform is a virus scanner.
Okay, good. So in simple terms, in your own way, what do you think or what is threat intelligence? Or what are those platforms?
It's a
What are these?
it's a platform where I can say it's a platform where we analyze our threats to detect the level of incidents on the platform.
Okay, we can say that it is also a platform that curates threats from happenstances in the society. So they create all those steps, the threats, keep record of them, so that in case something like that happens in the future, it will be mapped to. It will be easier to find. And look at one other reason why keeping records are important. Very, very important. In fact, um, did we talk about TTP? I mean, is it TTP or TTPP? Which one of them?
TTP.
Okay, so what is it?
Tactics, techniques, and procedure.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So now this is tactics, this is technique, and this is a procedure. One of the reasons why keeping record is good is remember what I told you guys that this tactics is. What did I say it is?
You said tactics is a goal.
Yes. Now let's expand it a little bit. The tactics of the person that is trying to hack your Facebook, he's trying to gain initial access. His goal is to get initial access or take over your Facebook account or if take over your account. So the goal is what does the person intend to achieve with this pattern of hacking that he's doing or with this pattern of brute force that he's doing. What is the goal? And that is what the tactic stands for. Now, if it takes step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, and step 8 to achieve a goal, and let's say it is on step 8 that he will carry out that goal, like he will be successful in taking over the whole account or everything, and you find out that this person is currently attacking a system, let's say system company X, Y, Z. Meanwhile, we already have the details of this guy in a threat platform like VirusTotal or AutoRun or anyone that is out there. We already have his details, and that details tells us the goals, his TTPs, and the kind of assets or steps he uses to accomplish what he's doing. So if you have this threat intelligence, and you find out that this guy is attacking a new system, what will you do? What will be your steps? What do you think you can do to save the day? I just want to hear you guys. It's not a hard, what's it called? I just wanted to know how you guys are thinking through it.
If I have that means I also have to update that on my threat intelligence platform.
I mean, you already have a history of what this guy is already doing before, and now you find out that he is attacking a new system. How do you help? Yes, how do you help this new system? What will you take into recognition so that you can help stop him?
I will take into conclusion the TTP.
Okay.
And since I already know how he operates, with the TTP information, I'll be more proactive in defending the new system.
Fantastic. Now watch. The first step is reconnaissance or gathering information. Then second step is weaponization. Weaponization is where he uses the information he finds and constructs a weapon or a payload with them. Then step 3 is delivering that weapon, that payload. Now, and there is a news that this guy is attacking this system. You already know his steps, that his steps he takes to get to where he's going for. So now in your mind, you'll be like, so where exactly is he now? Is he in step 1 or step 2? You get the point? Or step 3 or step 4? So let's assume he's on step 2. Then you can go ahead and block anything that will give him access to step 3. True or false?
True.
Good. If he's in step 4, you will go ahead of him and block whatever will give him access to step 5, then lock him out. If he's in step 8, you ensure, step 7, you ensure that he doesn't get to the final place. So TTPs are very, very important for you to succeed as a SOC analyst and also a cybersecurity analyst, and also with the help of these threat intelligence platforms. So I just wanted to point out to you guys how important it is in the field. So if you know the goal of the tactics of an adversary, then you can know where he is currently in the circle. They actually call this, who knows what it is called? It's called what? Cyber kill chain. It's called what?
Cyber kill chain.
Yes. Now, talking of cyber kill chain, let's see what Google has to say about it. Cyber kill chain. Gonna increase the volume. Someone should read. Please, someone should read.
A cyber kill chain is a model that outlines the various stages of a cyber attack, from initial
Reconnaissance.
reconnaissance to check the attacker's objective. It helps security teams understand and analyze attacks, allowing them to identify, prevent, or intercept them before they cause significant damages.
Good. Stages. Let
Stages of
CJ. Sorry. Let another person read the stages. Someone else, please read the stages. Chooks, are you sleeping?
Stages, number one,
Oh yeah, yes, go ahead, if fine.
the
I'm not
compromise,
sleeping. Okay.
If I go ahead, please. Chook,
reconnaissance.
yes, reconnaissance.
The, attack, the attacker gathers information about the target, including their infrastructure, vulnerabilities, and security measures.
Good.
Number two, weaponization. The attacker modifies models, model,
Malicious.
malicious code,
Yes.
example, malware, to target the specific vulnerability they identify during reconnaissance.
Good.
Number three, delivery. The attackers deliver the weaponized code to the target, often through techniques like phishing or malicious websites.
Good.
Four, exploitation. The attackers exploit the vulnerability in the target system to gain access. Five, installation. The attackers installs malicious software or tools on the target system to maintain access and expand their control.
Good.
Six, command and control. C2. The attacker establishes a communication channel to remotely control the compromised system and execute further action. Seven, actions and objectives. The attackers execute their intended actions, which could include data
Exfiltration.
exfiltration, system disruption, or other malicious activities.
Good. So now we've seen from step 1 to step 7. If you are aware of all these steps, then you will know and you can say, I think this is the stage where this guy is currently. or this is where he is. And that is why TTPs are important. Threat intelligence platforms, they also help to equip those intelligence. So before we go ahead now on the security domains, any question? Any question? I guess no question. So the first one, the first domain is security and risk management domain. So Chooks, you said you're not sleeping. Now I read.
Okay, security and risk management. This domain covers the foundational concepts of cybersecurity, including risk management, governance, law, and ethics. It focuses on maintaining security policies, business continuity, and ensuring compliance with legal regulations. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think I'm done.
I know.
Okay.
So basically, this particular domain, when you're doing your ISC2 review, takes care of security and risk management, takes care of foundational concepts of cybersecurity. See? And also it includes risk management, governance, laws, and ethics, audits, policies. You're going to see most of them here. So it focuses on maintaining security policies, business continuity, and ensuring compliance with legal regulations. Hope you know that organizations are being fined heavily for failed compliances. They are being fined heavily whenever they are being wanted. So, under the use case, for risk assessment, a company evaluates potential risk before launching new software. Test everything that needs to be tested though before you launch. Identify threats like malware or data breaches and creating a plan to mitigate this risk. On the compliance level, management, a healthcare company, for example, ensures that it is compliant with HIPAA to protect patient record. Also, on the security policies, organizations enforce password policies that require users to change passwords regularly or minimize unauthorized access. Practically, you could say, imagine you are securing your home Wi-Fi network and you set a strong password, you enable encryption, and restrict access to only trusted devices, which mitigates the risk of unauthorized access. When you are doing all these things, you are actually playing on the first domain, which is security and risk management. You are trying to manage your risk. In the exam, you're going to have risk. The topic of risk is going to come out a lot. You're going to where you they'll be asking about risk management, the stages of risk. I think maybe three or four questions might come out on risk, and you will have access to those extended revision before your exams. Just inquire, ask me, and I will share those materials for you for your what did they call it again? What do you do before you write the exam? Shebi is a
Revision.
revision. Yes, yes. After you've finished the ISC2 own, now you're doing your own personal revision and practice questions. Please, please, please inquire to get some of these materials from me because those are very important. They are very key to passing the exam. Okay, domain 2 says asset security. asset security. In fact, in all these domains, that's where all the questions of the exam is centered on. So you don't joke with it at all. 80% of the questions that come out from the exam are in the domains from domain 1 to domain 5. And all of them are covered in the extra materials that I have. And that's exactly what I use to pass my own exam. Because when I failed it, I was looking for a sure practice question and material. I was desperately looking for because the cost is $199, and as of that time, I didn't have that amount, so I can't bear failing again. And hope, by God's grace, I scaled through. Yeah. They won't tell you your pass score, but if you fail, they'll tell you failed. You didn't meet up the pass. But the pass score is 70. I already told you guys, right? So from 70 and above, you get a pass. You pass the exam. So asset security. This domain involves the protection of information and assets through proper classification and handling. You classify first before you handle. When you're classifying, that is when you will know whether this document is it worth securing, or what is the level of security, or what is the level of exposure, or what is the harm that it can bring when it's being exposed wrongly. So in this asset security domain, you learn how to, or it covers majorly on protection of information and assets through proper classification and handling. While it includes secure storage, encryption, and proper data destruction. What types of data destruction do you know? What types do you know? How do you destroy data? Have you destroyed any before? Which method did you use? Choose.
Well, I've not, but
So
I know
you've not
him.
deleted anything. You've not
Sorry, I
deleted
didn't.
anything. You haven't deleted any information from your phone, or you haven't wiped a memory card before.
I have. I'm talking about. I thought you were referring to customer information.
Okay. No, what we are dealing with has to do with a general level. Even if
Okay.
the sense of, yes, I deleted this data from this phone.
Mm.
Okay, it is part of data destruction. But has that data actually been deleted? It can still be recovered with some specific or from some high technologies. So deleting a hard drive is not just enough. There are proper destruction ways, data destruction practices to follow. In fact, I think I'm going to put it on you people's assignment. Please, the assignment coming from this particular domain, asset security, list out the different types of data destruction and their examples. Please write it down. Don't forget about it. When we come next week or within the week, you shared with me. It's very, very important. Okay, let's go ahead. So it includes secure storage, encryption, and proper data destruction when necessary. So for the use case, data classification. A company categorizes data as confidential or public to be able to determine the appropriate level of protection needed. You understand? So let's say, for example, you guys wanted to hire a cleaner, and you printed out, IVs and shared it out. Now you've hired the cleaner, and you are told to dispose those flyers. Now, the method you will use to dispose them, is it the same method you will use to dispose the CEO's official letters that you were asked to dispose?
No.
Yeah, because of the security level of both of them. So, in this particular domain, under data classification, it says a company categorizes data as confidential or public to determine the appropriate level of protection or even destruction. Secure disposal. An organization securely disposes of obsolete hard drives using shredding techniques to ensure data cannot be recovered. There was a memo that I saw online where someone bought a new a new hard disk, which was supposedly meant to be 1 terabyte. So by the time he got home to plug it in, he found out that it was 70% full. What was inside it? Some softwares, company softwares, company softwares. So, and with the analysis he made and questions he asked around, he found out that those softwares were actually very costly, probably around $2,000 to $3,000. So, just imagine if it was something that was bigger than that, and it lands in the hands of someone in the street. So practically, a small business needs to classify financial records as confidential and use encryption to protect them, ensuring only authorized personnel can access them. The third domain is security architecture and engineering. This domain focuses on designing and building secure systems and networks, which involves applying security models, ensuring encryption, and managing security measures to protect infrastructure from threats. In fact, recently I have been engaging myself in API studies because during my threat hunting or bug hunting, I want to focus majorly. I want to see if I can focus majorly on APIs. Seeing that APIs are very much rampantly in use by almost every application these days. So the there might be high chance of vulnerabilities littered everywhere. So I've been soaking myself with that study, and you guys should not worry. Once I cash out my first bug bounty, then I'll take the program home to us. Then I will show us how I successfully did that, so that most of us who have interest in bug bounty will follow suit. I hope that's a nice one.
Yeah, sure.
So say that this domain focuses on designing and building secure systems and networks. It involves applying security models, ensuring encryption, and managing security measures to protect infrastructure from threats. So under the use case, secure network design, I tell people, start your security brainstorming from the design approach. If you want to build um, a fortress or a house that has an underground, when will you start thinking about that underground? Is it when the building is in process, after the building is in process, or before the building starts?
Before you start.
Yes, that's the same thing with security. When you want to design your website, you want to design an app, you should start putting in security in the discussion early so that you will not be left behind. So they say that under the secure network design, when designing a company's internal network, engineers use firewalls and intrusion detection IDS. It will come out in the exam on the objectives. Intrusion detection system. They will write intrusion deviation system. They can twist it the way they want to twist it. HIPS hosts intrusion detection system. We have IDS, which is intrusion detection system. Then we have H before it, making it host intrusion detection system to block malicious traffic. So you take a look of that too. IoT security. A smart home setup is protected by applying encryption to communication between IoT devices and ensuring they cannot be accessed remotely by hackers. Did I share with you guys the incident where a company was hacked and they searched all through how the attack came in? They couldn't find, only to brainstorm more, and they found out where the attack came from. And to the amazement of everyone, nobody expected an attack to come through that side. So it came through their AC. They were attacked through their AC. Who can tell me how possible is that?
You said they were attacked through their AC.
Yes.
Maybe the AC is a smart AC that is connected to the internet.
Good. Fantastic. It was connected to the network. So now it was also attached to the main network grid. So I don't know how the attackers found out that the ACs are vulnerable. So, and of course, do you know how you can always find these things? Simple as scanning. When you scan a system, you will find everything that is connected to that network. So probably they must have scanned and they saw this device. What is this device? Is it a laptop? If it's a laptop, what is it? How is it? And until they started proning, until they found out that this device actually has a link to the main network, and phew, the rest was history. So with the rise of IoT devices, security needs to be in check. Mm, dismiss. We have 15 minutes on the timer. Once it gets to 5 minutes and we are not done, please alert me so that we can get a new one.
So, going by what you just said, though, is it safe practice
Okay?
to have IoT device attached to your network? Because
You
most of
know,
the TVs these days are smart TVs, and you connect them.
ah! Oh,
Or
well,
you should just have a separate network for them.
you see, now you are operating in what we call, let's say your house, you're operating in what we call LAN. So it is between you and you alone and your system. So now for someone to uh, find your address or hack into your local area network, it's still another thing. But also, this your local area network, you're expected to attach it through, run it through a VPN, or put on some, micro, um, what's it called, antivirus or all these stuffs, so that at least basically you are protected, because now you are in the house, your AC is connected. Most times, most people's fridge in the kitchen is connected. Remember CrowdStrike? Yes, I think so. The one that happened earlier last year, I believe last year, that froze many systems. Most people's fridge was still running on that operating system, so they couldn't open their fridge until those softwares were worked on. So you can imagine, you want to open your fridge and your fridge is saying install update first before you open the fridge. Ah, So what you're going to do is run through, if you want to do anything, run it through a VPN so that you can at least give yourself some shadow of protection if you sense that someone is haunting your network. So, but being here is different from being in the open. And of course, you know that the IP address you have here is different from the IP address you are operating here with. This is for the local, your home network. Why this is for the big outside world. Okay, so we'll look at some of these things when we'll get to, I think next week or upper week when we start doing POX scanning, etc., all those stuff. And starting our home lab, you have to build your own home lab, set it up, and see how it functions. Okay, let's dive ahead. Any other question? So, practicals to do. A student learning about cybersecurity might design a more secure email system incorporating encryption to protect messages from interception. You can also build custom VPNs for your home lab so that you can tighten your security. So these are some of the practicals you can decide this is what I want to add addition to my capstone project. They are not just for talking sake. You do them, do them. It increases your capacity and also increases your ability to stand out there in faces of projects. So the fourth domain is communication and network security, which emphasizes on securing networks and data communication channels. So this addresses how information is transmitted across networks and how to protect it from threats like eavesdropping and data interception. That is what this communication and network security domain is hammering or talking about. Under the use case, we say network segmentation. In a corporate environment, separating the network into segments ensures that if one segment is compromised, the others remain secure. You understand that, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Then VPN implementation, just like I was saying, employees working remotely use VPN, virtual private network, to securely access company resources, preventing man-in-the-middle attack. So practicals, when connecting to public Wi-Fi, users should enable a VPN to secure their communication and protect sensitive information from being intercepted. It happens. Domain 5, we talk about identity and access management. Now, this domain involves managing user identities and controlling access to resources. It ensures that users are properly authenticated and authorized. These are two different um, concepts that are very important. Going to come out in the exam. Authentication and authorization. Can tell me what's the meaning between the two of them? What do you think is the meaning, the difference, sorry, between the two of them? Authentication and authorization. Anyone?
Okay. For me, I think authentication is the medium of communicating or or the access you or the means of communicating with the device. So it's either you're authenticating via username and password, or you're authenticating with what's it called again? Your biometric, or you're authenticating with um, secret code. Or so authentication is just like a medium of communicating or having access to the device. While authorization is the rights you have when you are done authenticating. The amount of privilege you have or access right you have in the system.
Fantastic. Okay. You made mention of, from what you said, I gathered the word granting access. You see, like I said, this is going to come out in the exam, and the two of them can be very dicey if you don't understand the questions. Always read the questions twice, at least twice, to understand. When we are talking about authentication, it has to do with granting access. Granting access. Granting access. Then authorization is the clearance level or the level of access this person now has. This guy has been authorized to perform this action. He has been authorized to withdraw the check. But before he was authorized, he has to authenticate, he has to be given access. Do you get the analogy? Yes. So always try to understand that. At least some of the anyone I point out that I tell you that is going to come out in the exam, just point it down so that you can have during your practice test you can look out for those kind of questions because they will always come out. Yeah. Authentication and authorization. Okay, so it ensures that this domain ensures that users are properly authenticated first are now authorized to access systems based on their role. See, authorization also happens based on roles. Clearance. If you have the role, does your job role clear you to do this particular task? Yes. So, and privileges. Use case. Multi-factor authentication. Yes. You were saying something like that in the beginning. Employees use both a password and a fingerprint scan to access sensitive financial systems, enhancing security. Multi-factor authentication. Who can tell me what it is? What does multi-factor authentication mean? MFA.
I
I'm
think
waiting.
it's to me, I think it's an higher level of security, just like our 2FA, which is the Google Authenticator, like second level of security.
Okay. So now you are in cybersecurity. Look at how I'm going to explain it to you. I'll go straight and I hit the nail and explain it to you. Then, with on that understanding, you will not fail any exam coming from authentication types. We have um, type type one, which is what you know. W Y, what you know. Okay. Example of what you know. You know your password, right?
Yes, password.
Yeah. Sometimes too, you can write your passphrase and keep it. Don't forget, you know your password, you know your passphrase. Yes.
We have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Fantastic. Okay, then uh, let's uh, let's get a new link because this topic we are treating now is very important. We were talking about multi-factor authentication, and we said type one is what you know. Let me reduce it a bit. Shrink, shrink. Okay. So now the next type will be type two. Type two is what you have. What do you have? You have your tokens, hardware or software. You also have your IDs, physical IDs, etc. Then we have finally type 3. This is going to come out in the exam, my brothers. So I have to pay good attention about that. Type 3 finally is who you are. How do I spell who? Okay, W, who you are. And when we're talking of who you are, what do we have? Example.
Biometric.
Yes, the biometrics. Whether your retina scans, eye scan, palm scans, etc., everywhere. So anything concerning your biometrics is who you are. So when we are talking of authentication, and now we have multi-factor authentication, each of these is a factor. So this is factor one. This is the second factor. That is where you have the word two-factor authentications. You understand where it came from? Then if they ask you to make use of three-factor authentication, then you know what to do. You have to include your biometrics. So the first factor, if you are using 20 passwords only, like 20 different passwords, my brother, you are still under one-factor authentication. If you like use 100 passwords, you're still under number one authentication. But when you make use of what you know, which is your password, and add it with any of these, whether you add it with type 3 or add it with type 2, then you have a multi-factor authentication. Understood? Questions, please, if you have. Any question?
Okay, I'll just ask this. Has there been any case of attacker being able to break into an MFA system?
Okay, to answer that question, let's look at this scenario. Actually, this scenario too is an exam question, is exam scenario too. So watch. If you lose your password or your passphrase, let's say you use your password What do you do? How do you recover it?
You do a password reset.
Good. Go for password reset. That's how easy it is for that one. Now, your tokens or your IDs, when you lose them, how do you get a new one?
You simply request for another.
Yes, reissue, right?
Yeah.
Good. If you lose your biometrics, any of them, how do you recover it?
Kind of hard to recover.
He said,
But there should be a way. There should be a way
Go and do
around that.
DNA.
he said, I want to hear someone. What did he say? Maybe you go to Alaba market and look for spare
Buy
parts.
another one.
Okay, my brother. Why this scenario came out is they were going to ask you which of the types of authentication, when lost, can never be recovered. The answer will always be type 3. Meanwhile, this type 1, type 2, type 3 is an industry recognized authentication naming. Type 1, they will not come and be asking you what you know or your password. No, they will ask you list or which of these is not part of type 1 authentication requirements. So they can now mix both type 2 and type 3 and put it into the questions. But when you know that type 1 is all about what you know, your password, your passphrase, if they like, let them bring token and put here, let them bring biometrics and put here, you know those ones are the wrong answer. So when they ask you which of these is not part of type 2 authentication requirements, you already know that type 2 is tokens and IDs, your extra phone for using for what's it called, receiving the token. If they put password here and passphrase here, you know that those ones are the wrong ones. Then type 3, the question that normally comes in type 3 is which of the authentication types, when lost, cannot be reissued? And the answer is type 3. When anybody loses his fingerprint, my brother, I don't know what you are going to talk to because unless you just stop using biometrics as mode of authentication, I think that's just the only thing you can do. You guys understand, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, since if you notice that your biometrics has been infiltrated, then you stop using it as a mode of authentication. I needed to do this so that, remember what I told you guys as we are going on in the program, when we come across stops to deal with, we'll pause and we'll deal with them so that we can have a conjugated learning process. It's not just following the curriculum like secondary school students that are preparing for work. We are talking about real life scenarios here, things that will affect not just in the job section and but also in real life. So under that was under multi-factor authentication. So the next is access control policies. During your preparation for your exam, you're going to do, you're going to get this very well. You might not have enough time now to dig into it, but you're going to, there are up to like 4 or 5, I think 4 access control levels. They have this RBA, ROBAC means role-based access control. Most times their names sound like what they are doing. Role-based access control means you only have access to this kind of role because of to this kind of stuff because of the role you're occupying. As a manager, you have access to do this and this because you are the manager. Once you cease to be the manager, that access is being withdrawn from you. So that is what RBAC means, rule based. We also have rule based, RULE, rule based. We also have MAC. Oh, but these things are going to come out in the exam. And please, before you take that exam, be sure you get those materials and you study for them because they are going to come out and it will be nice that you'll be answering them confidently in the exam board. So under access control policies, an IT department implements role-based access control to ensure that only administrators can access or change system configurations. Practicals, setting up multi-factor authentication on your personal accounts or devices, such as your email, your social media. When you do this, it adds extra layer of security, reducing the likelihood of account takeover. I think one of my pastors was always complaining that he feels like his phone is being hacked. So, so when they reached out to me, they said they wanted to do two-factor authentication. I said, okay. I said, number one, um, if you're feeling like someone is hacking you, then there's a possibility that the person is close to you. Guys, you understand me? That's you're a pastor and you're a friend to all. The person that is hacking you, definitely there's a possibility that the person is close to you. So whenever they send OTP, the person is always around to take it from your phone or take it from your device. So I devised another method. I told him your OTP now should now be your second factor authentication should no more be coming to your phone. Send it to your wife's phone so that wherever she is, when she gets it, she will ask, "Hey babe, are you the one that is requesting for password change?" Then there is an alert. Everybody will be alert that something wants to happen. If truly you are the one that is requesting for it, then you get it. If not, they will discard it. And since then, nobody has, they've not complained about it again till date. I hope that's, and I think that solves the issue. Because now, probably the person must have come again, send the OTP maybe to hack into the WhatsApp or anything, and taking the phone, hoping to receive it, and it doesn't come. He sends it again, it doesn't come. Then he knows that they've locked him out. So that is that. The next domain, number 6, is security assessment and testing. Remember, in the ISC2 program, they only stopped at domain 5. I just had to add extra 2 to this so that we can explain some things in details. So that's what I did. So security assessment and testing. This domain focuses on evaluating the security posture of systems through assessments, testing, and audits. Mr. Ifeanyi, I'm going to mute you for a while until your background is clear. So you can, even in this program, you can learn how to conduct security audits on a system. There are no hard ways to do it. All you have to do is set up your machine and you run the commands, you run the system audit, you check the systems and see how fit they are for work. And meanwhile, those are still low level checks. So by the time graduate more into the industry, you will be able to perform stronger checks and work on them. So he said it includes vulnerability assessments, penetration testing, and continuous monitoring. We're talking about security assessment and testing. Under the use case, penetration testing, a cybersecurity team tests an organization's defense by simulating cyber attacks to uncover vulnerabilities. Vulnerability scanning. Automated tools are used to identify weak points in the network or software that could be exploited by attackers. Then we also have some things students can do. Say using free tools like Nmap, beginners can scan their home network for potential vulnerabilities. This you can do in week 5 or week 4, ensuring that all devices are properly secured. You can also scan your environment or a website that you own. Number 7, domain 7, security operations. We've talked about so many things on security operations. This domain involves the day-to-day task required to keep an organization's assets secure. It includes incident response, disaster recovery, and maintaining the operational security of the information system. Meanwhile, it is going to come out in the exam very well. Incident response, disaster recovery also. In the incident response, I know they're going to ask questions around steps to carry out when conducting an incident response. I think one of the most prevalent ones is, what do you do when you get the alert? When they give you an alert of uh, incident, what do you do? Do you go ahead immediately and are you saying something? Go ahead.
You analyze the incident.
Good. You don't just go ahead and start plugging and unplugging, and the first thing to do is you have to go back and recheck and re-verify. Always remember that once you receive a ticket or a report, you have to go back and re-verify whether what you received is true. On verification, then you can now start taking remediatory actions step by step. In the options, they will put, once you receive the ticket, you destabilize the system, or you, what's it called, unplug the system that is corrupt. You do this, then they will now put, you go and verify the authenticity of the incident. The answer will always be to re-verify to know whether what you got is true or not. So under use cases, we have disaster recovery. After a cyber attack, a company uses its backup systems to restore critical data and operations. Incident response. A cybersecurity team detects a phishing attack and quickly responds by blocking malicious IPs and quarantining affected systems. These are under incident response. Practically, develop a basic incident response plan for your personal devices. This can help you react quickly if they are compromised, such as knowing how to change passwords or disconnect them from the web internet. I think this should be the last domain, software development and security domain. This says this domain covers the security of software applications throughout their development life cycle. It ensures that security is integrated into the design. You see, it started with the design, coding, testing, and deployment stages of the software. Security is very, 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 very important. Under the use cases, we have secure coding practice. Developers should follow guidelines to prevent common vulnerabilities like SQL injection or cross-site scripting. Meanwhile, this is what your capstone project would be, SQL injection. Under security testing in development, a company implements static analysis tools to automatically scan codes for security flaws before deployment. Practicals, a beginner learning about web development could practice writing codes that avoid or that are void of vulnerabilities just by simply using input validation techniques to prevent malicious input from being executed. When we are doing our practicals, you will know the usefulness of this and how dangerous it is for a system not to have it. So ahead of next week, I think before the home lab setup, we're going to do ports, scanning and ports for us to know more about ports before we now start home lab. So next week is going to be on ports. But ahead of next week, remember your classwork. I think I gave you guys classwork. I also encourage you guys to register for the training exam so that you can start planning yourself ahead for the exam. Remind me to attach the link on how to register for that training on your folder. Then thirdly, get your tools and your whatever, get them ready ahead of next week because we're entering practical level. So you're going to download and install a VM. If you don't have any virtual box or a VM, download and install one. Then install a Kali Linux into it. Read up about IP address, IP class, and IP octets. We are going to talk a little bit about them at the early class. So it would be nice that you read about them a little bit so you wouldn't be totally lost. Also read up about Nmap when you have the time. Read up about network ports and types because that's exactly what we're going to do next week. So guys, I think we're done for today. This is the time for questions or contributions or goodbyes.
Yeah. My question. I guess that was in week 2 that we discussed about ports. Hello, sir.
Yes. Did we do an extensive discussion on ports or just those ports?
We didn't do an extensive discussion on it.
Okay.
So when I now went online to get more information about ports, so I got information that let me just read it out. It said every device is connected to the internet has 65,335 ports available for TCP.
Okay.
And another 65,535 ports for UDP, totaling to 131,070 ports.
Do you have the source of that information? Is it verifiable?
Actually,
let's check.
Okay, then let's just check.
Let's check what Google says. How many?
I actually use Chat GPT.
Okay, how many ports does a device connected to the internet have? Did I press something else? What are ports? Network connected with standardized ports. Let's look at tech targets. Let's see what they say. IP address. So we have port numbers are part of this. Are part of the addressing information that helps. I'm here. That helps identify senders and receivers of information and particular application devices. Port numbers consist of 16-bit numbers, 1 to 65,535. So the error I pointed out, I cited the first error. You said 65,300.
No, 65,535, which is correct.
Oh, okay, it's correct. So this is actually what it is. It is not more than this. But these are being shared between the TCP and the FTP.
So what's now the difference between TCP and UDP?
Fantastic. Next week is on ports, and we are going to talk about it. Meanwhile, on a lighter scale, just because you asked, TCP stands for what? Transmission Control Protocol. Okay, Transfer Control Protocol, something like that. Then UDP is a User Datagram Protocol. So this is majorly for connectionless transfers or connections. For example, when you're going through something or when you need to make a connection that you don't need to have it, you don't care whether it is authenticated. For example, you're watching a movie online or on YouTube. You don't care where or how authenticated that link is, so far as you're watching a movie, and it is faster.
Okay.
It's going to come out to you in an exam. So UTP is faster than TCP. TCP does a lot of checks. In fact, TCP ensures that only certified or secured channels are being used. And under TCP, that's where we have that HTTPS connection, etc. But under user datagram, you can use it for file transfers, etc. But under TCP, we are looking at network connections, browser connections, and etc. So next week we are going to see if we can dig a little bit down into them, so that
Okay.
we'll have a good talk about it. Thanks, man. That was a nice dig up.
Yeah, I shared you the link of the information I got via ChatGPT, so you can also look at it.
Okay. Okay. No problem, guys.
Yeah.
Any other contributions or questions from any other person before we go? Now, have you even tried? There's this trick. Let me try something and show you. Can you correct yourself? How many total? Yeah, in device. Okay. Also, when you're in doubt of what's the name, AI informations, you can actually ask it for references. You get me?
Okay.
Ask it for references, so it can point you to where it's getting that
Source information.
exactly. So always probe them, because that's what I do. Most times when I study with AI, and it gets to a point where it do like say, guy, you don't lie. Oh." I'll ask it for references.
No scatter
But
percentage.
yes, and most times too, when you pick out a wrong thing that I said, that you apologize. I'll say in my mind. So you don't know, say you did wrong. You go to give me this wrong answer. You want me I fail? If you say apologies, this, but I proved it now, and it still maintained the 130,000. But um, legally and officially in the industry, 65,536 goes for the exact number of points. It's still going to come out, I think, in the exam. Let's see how far we're going to do about it next week. So,
Okay.
guys, thank you very much for coming around. Keep the fire burning, because it's the most important thing. And stay good and stay safe. See you
Yeah.
next time.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Bye.